All right, so let's get our XY axes here. We all remember how to figure out what's positive and what's negative in each quadrant. All students take classes. So I think we can go through this entire chart right now and put a plus and minus where everything is positive and negative. Do you think you can do it? So I'll do cosine with you and you can finish sine and tangent. Cosine, what about in the first quadrant, positive or negative? Positive, everything's positive. Is cosine positive or negative in the second? Here we go, in the third and in the fourth. There you go. So can you guys fill out sine and tangent for me now? Fill out sine and tangent. Hopefully it went pretty quick, right? Sine in the first? Positive. In the second? Third? Fourth? How about tangent in the first?
Negative.
What's the A mean in the first quadrant? All, everything. I say first quadrant, positive is the answer. Second quadrant? Negative. Third? What's the T mean in the third quadrant?
It's the only one that's positive.
Well, what's T stand for?
Tangent.
Tangent is positive in the third. Everything else, negative. And then in the fourth quadrant, negative. Can you do this for me? If you want to work alone, that's fine. Group up with another person or two people and go somewhere in the room so you guys can start discussing some of this, because I don't want to just teach it to you and say, do it this way. I want you to start thinking about it. And if you could talk to other people about it, I would think that would be great. But if you want to work by yourself, that's fine. So go ahead, go off, put your desk together for me, get in some groups right now, because I just don't want to put it up on the board, call a random number, and put somebody on the spot here. I want you to start thinking about this, because you guys have learned a lot of this already. If you'd rather work by yourself, I don't care. That's fine. Let's just get going. Okay, here we go. Let's get moving. All right, and you're with these people to talk to them, actually. All right. So here we go. I'm asking for cosine and what's cosine and what's tangent if I know sine already. And keep reading. What quadrant am I in? Second quadrant. Draw yourself a angle in the second quadrant because it says the terminal side goes through the second quadrant. And they're giving me the value of sine, which means to me, draw a right triangle. So I can put 5 and 13 on there. So do you remember people in your group? Do you remember how to draw the right triangle in the second quadrant? If you don't remember, draw yourself a bow tie off to the side, and that'll remind you, hey, this is how I draw it in the second quadrant. So hopefully we are drawing a right triangle that looks like this in the second quadrant. What's the other big piece of info they give me other than we're in the second quadrant? Sine is 5 over 13, which means, hey, in your group right now or by yourself, put a 5 and a 13 somewhere on that triangle. Sine. If you got to write it out, let's go. Sohcahtoa. Where should the 5 and the 13 go on that right triangle? Because it's sine. Discuss it. Look each other over here. Remember, we always go from the reference angle. We're always looking at the reference angle when determining opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. Where are you putting the 5? Vertical side. Where's the 13 going? Hypotenuse. You know you're going to probably have to find that third side, right? How? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Check it over with each other in your group. Where are you plugging 13 in for? A, B, or C? C, good. What's your B value in your groups?
12.
Should be finding 12, yep. Watch when you put it on your diagram. Anybody going to sniff something out for me here? When I put it on my diagram, we're in this exact spot here. It's going to be negative, right? Because I'm going this way. All right, in your groups right now, the first thing I need to find is the cosine of my angle. Go ahead. What's the cosine of my angle? Using Sohcahtoa. This side over this side. Cosine, what do you have? Negative 12 over. That's adjacent over hypotenuse. Negative 12 over 13. Why does it make sense that this answer should be negative? Any groups want to take this one? Why should this answer be negative? Other than you labeled the 12 negative. Why does it make sense that this answer for cosine came out to be negative? Correct. What do I know about cosine in the second quadrant? It's negative. So that's why my answer should be negative. All right, something a little new, not too new. Now I want to introduce tangent. How do you find tangent according to Sohcahtoa? Opposite side over adjacent. You have both of them. What's opposite your reference angle? 5 over adjacent side. There you go. And why does it make sense that it should also be negative? What about tangent in the second? It is negative. So yeah, my answer should be negative. Any questions finding those two before we find the big one, which is actually find the angle now? Find what theta is. How many degrees in theta? Bare minimum. Bare minimum, all of us should know my final answer should be between what and what? 90 and 180. Bare minimum, we should all know. Hey, my final answer should be between something between 90 and 180. Well, yesterday, I had you guys use the inverse button. We're going to keep using the inverse button. I asked you guys to pick the one that's what, though? Because I could use sine, I could use cosine, or I could use inverse tangent. I could use any one of those. What do I prefer you use, though? The positive one, which is what out of the three? Sine. Don't say sin. Sine, yes. So I'm going to prefer you do inverse sine and then plug in what fraction? Whatever sine's equal to, which is 5 over 13. Inverse sine, fraction, 5 over 13. Remember, your calculator has no clue what quadrant you're in, right? Your calculator has no clue the type of problem in the quadrant, so it just says, I'm just going to give you a reference angle. That's all that your calculator's doing. It's saying, hey, look, whoever's using me here, I have no idea what quadrant you're in. So I'm just going to produce reference angles all the time. So the reference angle's 23 degrees. And I'm hoping you guys have enough knowledge to get to the actual angle in the second quadrant, if that's 23. Talk it over. Let's go. How do I get that angle if I know the reference angle's 23? What are you guys doing to find the actual angle?
180 minus
180 minus, in this case, 23. So that angle is going to be 105.7. Could you still get 157 if you used inverse cosine and tangent? Yeah, but it wouldn't have gave you. It probably would have gave you a negative angle and had to go through all that stuff afterwards. But using the positive version always goes right to the reference angle. Any questions from you guys? Yep, Zach.
Is there any way to tell the calculator what quadrant you're in? Or will
You can
always
talk to it,
remember?
I guess, but I don't think you're going to get much results out of it. Okay? No, you can't. Nope. Questions? Like program it so it comes up with second, inverse sine. I'm in this quadrant. No, sorry. We're not that. It's not that smart. Does some good things, but not that much. All right. Ooh, baby. Here we go. Right off the bat. Look at those. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 words.
Tangent 45.1.
Use the
Calculator.
unit circle. Use the unit circle. So remember all our points. If you got to look back, look back. Use the unit circle to figure this out. Ooh, we're going to have some trouble here, I bet. But all right, tangent of 45. So go. We're on the unit circle. 45. What do you got? 45 is what? If you got to look back, what was my coordinate at 45? Radical 2 over 2. Radical 2 over 2. But there's a problem. What was the x coordinate? That was cosine. And the y coordinate was sine. There's nothing left over for tangent. So how do I figure out the tangent one? If you go back to the beginning, the definition of tangent, sine over cosine. Go ahead, go back for me. Go back to the beginning of your notes because I want you to write something extra. Sine over cosine is tangent. What was sine again? Which coordinate? Over cosine, which is? So that's how I find the tangent on the unit circle. I take the y coordinate and divide it by the x coordinate. Okay? I just don't take one of the coordinates and that's it. So if we go back to the tangent of 45, what's the y coordinate? Radical 2 over 2 divided by radical 2 over 2. I don't want to leave it like that. All right, and this is probably a bad one to do right off the bat because your calculator will give you a whole number answer. But I want to go over, because your calculator is probably going to give you a decimal sometime. So I want to go over how do we fix this because I can't leave it like this. You guys know how to fix this. Fraction divided by a fraction. We did this all in unit 1. Keep, change, flip. Remember that? Fraction divided by a fraction. Radical 2 over 2. What's the division change into? So this changes into times, flip. That's how we change it. And do you see everything that's going to cross out? The 2's can cross out and the radical 2's can cross out. 0 then? 0? 1. And you can confirm that on your calculator. If you do tangent of 45, it'll be 1.
But why tangent 90? Nothing.
Well, I guess we'll have to get to that when we get to it, right? Calculator can't be used for everything, Jeremy, including tangent of 150. Okay, here you go. You're gonna pull that on me? Tangent of 150? Yeah, good luck for me accepting that answer. Right? So we got to do this the hard way. Can't just rely on the calculator. So let's talk about tangent of 150. First thing, and I'm trying to get you guys in this mindset, where is 150? Second, so right now in your mind, is my answer going to be positive or negative? Tangent in the second is negative. So if I want to rewrite this like you guys should have done on your quiz, negative tangent. And now I got to break down 150 smaller, aka its reference angle. 150's reference angle. Okay. 30. So let's think on the unit circle, where's 30? Ooh, boy. 30? Radical 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. And we're doing tangent now. Tangent, which we just learned was what coordinate over what coordinate? Okay, so here we go. Let's figure out what this value is. I got my negative sign. Y coordinate over X coordinate. Everyone all right? Y over X. And the negative's out there because I'm in the second quadrant. And tangent's negative. So I want to keep reminding myself my answer is going to be negative. Keep, change, flip. Negative 1/2 times, flip it, go ahead. 2 over radical 3. Anything going to cancel here? Yep, 2's are gone. What's left on top?
-1.
Negative 1 or 1. Yep, I brought the negative over. What's left on the bottom? You want to stare at each other? Or have some self-respect? Can't have a radical in the denominator. That's no good for us. That's no good. We're way better than this. How do I get out of it?
Multiply the top and bottom by that.
So what do I have here? Negative radical 3 on top, 1 radical 3 on top, and what on the bottom? A 3, yep. You guys, just check your answer at the end. Dude, I already did this on my calculator here. There's tangent of 150. That's what it should come out to. So whatever you got as an answer, negative radical 3 over 3. All right, here you go. Let's take a quick peek. Negative radical 3 over 3. Darn it. You know what? I feel pretty good. I got the right answer. And you know what this is also good for? A lot of you always forget what sign. You always forget a negative on there. So if you do this and your answer was radical 3 over 3, you're going to notice pretty darn quick, shoot, my answer should have been negative. Let me put one on there right now. Okay, that's the biggest common mistake when you guys start doing these is if you get the negative signs. All right, let me try to get one more in here before we go. Tangent of 180. Where's 180? On the line, right. No quadrant. On the line. So I got to remember. Anybody remember the point at 180?
1, 0.
Ooh, what's that point? Come on. Negative 1, 0. You're doing tangent. So what coordinate comes first?
0.
Well, what? Y or X for, right? Y over X. So it's going to be what coordinate? Let's see. 0 is the Y over negative 1. What do you got there? Oh boy. 0 divided by negative 1. If you have to use your calculator, you have to use it. 0. Correct. Oh, I got more time here, it looks like. Perfect. Okay, now we're going 90 degrees. 90. What's the sine and cosine at 90? All right, here you go again. What's up at 90? 0, 1. All right, here you go. Let's see how quickly we can do this. Sine of 90. If you know your coordinates, sine of 90. Why? The y coordinate. Cosine 90. X coordinate, 0. Perfect. All right, now let's do tangent. Tangent, y over x. What's your y coordinate?
1,
Over,
0.
but there's a problem. If you do 1 over 0 on your calculator, it's going to give you an error. That's why we say at tangent of 90, undefined, cannot divide by 0. There is no value at tangent of 90. All right, is no value. Perfect timing. No issues doing the assignment today. Yep.
What are the periods? Or should I ask?
5 and 7.
5 and 7.
But they're not gonna let you change just because you can't get here. I'm gonna let you know that.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Have a good
So-
day.
You need a better reason to change classes other than I just don't feel like getting here at this time.
Just
All
my
right.
cards.
Well, you can talk it. I don't make that decision.
Yeah.
That's your guidance counselor and administration. So
Okay.
it's something to run by them
Thank you.
first. All right.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
Hi. I come in at lunch to take my quiz.
What period's that?
4.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Four proofs. Okay. Thank you. You guys want to get back in your groups? Go ahead, please. Go ahead, get back in your groups.
My ship is here.
No, she left. I'll tell you the story later.
You guys have probably already seen up on Aspen are all your quiz grades. Okay, that's it. That's it for the quarter. All right, other than homeworks tomorrow and next week, that's pretty much it. You're looking at your grades right there. Okay, you're looking at your grades. A couple things before we get going. Everyone did finally take their Unit 3 test, period 8. So I want to get through the notes, then I'll reveal the class averages, and if we have to vote somebody off, we'll vote somebody off. But I want to get through the notes first. You guys should have it already written down. The unit test is a week from Monday. I think I have the 15th down. Okay, that's still on course to go. That'll be your first grade of the second quarter. I don't know how many of your teachers have started talking about it yet, but midterms are at the end of the second quarter, at the end of January, and we are taking a midterm in this class. It will cover quarters 1 and 2. It'll be during midterm week. It'll be 2 hours. You'll have to take it. But the thing is, it will count towards quarter 2. Okay, I don't know what your other teachers' policies are that are having midterms, but our midterm will count towards your quarter 2 grade. Okay, yep.
How does midterms week work?
Usually it's, if you have a midterm, you come and take it. If not, you stay home.
Okay.
And you take it like in the gym, cafeteria type deal.
Okay.
Big setting.
And are there midterms and like
It's
your
teacher,
will tell you?
yeah, it's
Okay.
basically up to your teacher, basically. So you, honors geometry BC, whether you're in my class or Miss Venezia's class, will be taking the same midterm. Okay, so you guys in Miss Venezia's classes will, all four honors geometry BC classes will be taking the same midterm, getting the same review when we give out the review. Okay, the date has not been determined yet, but it will be, I think, the last week in January. All right, and midterm week works is you come if you have an exam. If you don't, you don't come. Okay, Tim, yeah, go ahead.
Can you have more than one exam on one day?
You could, yes, but not in the same time though. Usually it's like broken up into like an 8 to a 10 slot, 10:30 to 12:30, 1 to 3.
Would you leave after you take your exam?
Yeah, there'll be busing and everything else. Yep. Busing to get you here depending on when you review. Or if you want to, I'm sure I'll have a slew of review sessions too, both virtual and in person too, for you guys to get ready for this. All right, but it does count towards quarter 2. It's not like a standalone grade like a couple of years ago, like before COVID hit, when we had midterms regularly. It used to be its own grade. So you'd have a quarter 1 grade, a quarter 2 grade, a midterm grade, 3, 4 in regions. But this year we're pushing it into quarter 2. So it's not too much stress on you guys. Because you guys haven't sat for a midterm ever probably, correct? And you guys you don't have the fullness of what's going to be on that either. Because it's going to be everything we've done from September on. So, okay, but we'll prepare you for it. All right, will it be challenging? Yeah, because it's an honors level midterm. But I'll prepare you just like we do for unit tests. Yeah, Grace.
Is the Regents test is not honors level, so it won't have like.
Well, it depends on.
Is there like an honors level?
No,
Regents?
it's just a geometry Regents exam. But I'm not saying you guys are going to breeze through it either.
Okay.
Like some of the questions are pretty tough on there. So, and then every geometry student takes that, no matter what level of geometry you take, and that'll be a separate grade from quarter 4. Okay, that'll be its own grade. It'll be its own. Any other questions? Good questions here, guys. And again, the midterm is teacher dependent. Okay, teacher dependent. All right, I'm not giving one in my Regents geometry class. All right, but for you guys, since you're honors, I feel like it should be given a midterm. So. All right, ready? You guys did a nice job yesterday too on your quiz. Very nice job. Okay, I was pretty impressed. There really wasn't too many things I needed to worry about, or anything I needed to worry about. So today what's going to happen is I'm going to give you your 5th and final method of proving triangles congruent. 5th and final method. And there is a reason why I separate this method from the others. Just because it's unique. It's unique from the others. And I never even stopped recording my other class.